Hey, District 2 sports fans, it's Gregory here, and I want to tell you about our new sponsorship here. If you're looking to make your business stand out, you've got to check out Chaos Cartel Company. They specialize in custom shirts, hats, tumblers, banners, and so much more. And the best part, there's no minimum order, and their pricing is amazing. I should know because we have a few shirts from them. Whether you're a small business or just looking to get some cool merch, Chaos Cartel Company is here to help. They love working with other businesses to bring your brand to life. If you want to get started, give them a call at 434 489 6123 or shoot them an email at chaoscartel1, and that's the number 1, at gmail.com. Chaos Cartel Company, making your business look good, one custom piece at a time.
You are now listening to the District 2 Sports Podcast, available on all your favorite music apps. Like and subscribe.
All right, so District 2 Sports Podcast, and we're back with another episode tonight. We have some more basketball on the podcast, and we're joined by, I guess, going into his second year here at Bassett High School is Coach Mancino Craighead. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Good, good. Like I said, I know you want to talk about Bassett basketball, so
Yes,
I want to
sir.
get you on here and kind of talk about your career and whatnot, and talk to
Okay.
some of your players too. But like I said offline, my first question about you is, I know you're coaching Bassett, coach at Carlisle, but I want to know how you got into the game of basketball, where you grew up.
Well, I was born and raised in. I was born in Franklin County. Lived in Figsboro all my life. Went on to go to Philadelphia High School. When I graduated in 1996, played three sports there: football, basketball, and baseball. Went on to college and played 1 year of football there before I hurt my knee, and then I just kind of gave it up. And then, I had a former coach reach out to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, we've got JV baseball, basketball, and football open at FC. I'd love for you to come back." And I'm like, "Hey, let's do it," because I knew I wanted to coach. I did some while I was at Virginia State University. I coached the Parks and Rec team up there, and from then on, I knew I wanted to be, into coaching. You know, being that, being a former player and everything, the next best thing when you give up the game is to be a coach. So I went into that, came back home, coached those three sports for the first year at FC. And then I went to Bassett High School for my second year and coached varsity football, basketball, and baseball there. And then consolidation hit with Bassett and FC. And then I was the last, they took 5 PE teachers, and I was number 6, and I had just started. So I was the odd man out. I ended up going to Carlisle, and I was at Carlisle for 18 years. Um, Initially, I started out coaching the JV boys. And then after about 6 years, Coach Atkins and Tony Jones went on to go coach at P&H. And Coach Atkins came to me. He's like, "Hey, man, I would love for you to take over the girls program." But I was a little reluctant because, that second year at Bassett High School, I was the varsity girls basketball coach. And to be honest, we won 3 games, man. And I just didn't know if I was suited to coach girls basketball. So, I did it as a favor, honestly, after that first year. And then I enjoyed it. So I remember I took a loss to LCA my first year, 100-15. And I'll never forget that, man. And then, that following year is when we got our first recruit in, Taisha Williams, and we lost to the eventual state champion by 1 at the buzzer. And then that following year is when we went on that state championship run, and we won 4 consecutive state championships. And, left there. My daughter had a brain tumor. So that's kind of why I got out of education for a year or two. She's healthy, typical teenager now, and all that good stuff. And then I went back to Carlisle to coach. And, I coached the girls during that COVID year. And then the following year, honestly, I needed to get back so I can have some insurance I didn't have a job at the time. So I went to GW Danville. and I coached 2 seasons there. We went from the bottom of the pack to playing in the Piedmont District Championship that my second year, and we had 3 girls that were all region, and they and I think Coach Thomas did a great job with carrying on the tradition there. And then I came back home. One of my former baseball coach in high school, he retired, and I found out about the position, and that's how I came to FC. That first year, I came in kind of late, so I didn't get the help at Bassett. So I knew Taquan Graves while I was in Danville, and he took over as the coach at Magna Vista. So he was like, "Hey, come help me." So I did that my first year, and then when the position came open at Bassett last summer, I was informed about it. I applied, and I got that, and the rest is history right now.
Was Mancino Craighead, was he the better basketball, football, or baseball? I mean, you said play. I guess you played football in college, but what was your
Sure.
favorite sport in high school?
I think my best sport was baseball, to be honest. And I didn't realize that until after I had graduated from college and all that good stuff. I went on to play travel softball for about 15 years before my wife made me give it up because she said she was tired of rubbing me, because I was always sore. So, I did that, and I realized that baseball was probably my best sport. But I've studied the game of basketball for so long. I was never the most athletic, but I worked hard, and my coach always rewarded me for that. And so I went into coaching saying, "Hey, if I can just get kids to play hard, I can teach them the rest." And that's kind of how I got started.
So Coach, I want to ask a little bit about, your time at Carlisle, and it kind of pertains to your time now here at Bassett. But you talked
Yeah.
about that string of state championships that y'all went on at Carlisle after, some tumultuous times when you first started out. What was the
Yeah.
recipe for success, when y'all went on that string of success there?
Well, I think the recipe was continuity. We had 4 8th graders that had been playing together from the 8th grade to the 12th grade. So all 4 of those girls won 4 state championships. So just having that nucleus for 5 years, man, I mean, most coaches don't get that. So just to have that nucleus of girls coming back, and I think that was the recipe for success. And that year after we lost that game 100-15, I had Miranda Crockett transfer in, and she scored almost 1,000 points in a year. And she went on to go to Morehead State on a Division I scholarship, and she's the second all-time leading scorer at Morehead State right now. So I had some firepower. And then, I had 4 other girls that went on, and they all went to UVA on academic scholarships. They were done with basketball. They were like, "Coach, hey, we've won 4 state championships. It's no need in trying it anymore. We're good." And they all went to school, academic scholarships. They're all doing well, man. And that was pretty much the recipe for my success.
Coach, what was that like for you? Like, I know you went to public schools growing up. You go to a private school, and you're able to kind of you can bring in whoever you want to, really. I mean, what was that process like for you? Was it new to you when you first got there? Like, hey, oh, okay, I can bring in my own players. I can recruit who I want to. I guess they have to contact you first. But was that like new to you? And then once you got the hang of it, was it just like easy for you to kind of get those girls coming in there?
Yeah, it was honestly, it was hard in the beginning because nobody really knew who I was. On the basketball side of things, they knew I played baseball and football at Philadelphia, but nobody looked at me as the I guess the basketball guru. So nobody really knew about me. So I had to gain my wings, I guess, for lack of better words. And it and honestly, in those 11 years that I was in charge of the program, I only had 3 girls transfer in. All the other girls were there already, and we just kind of built from there. Like Miranda Crockett was one. I had a Cinnamon Stanfield, and then I had Courtney Puckett. Those were the only 3 girls that I had transfer in 11 years. But that nucleus, they were still there. So we just kind of took it and we ran with it.
And it's impressive hearing that because nowadays you hear everybody on college level the portal
Yeah.
or going into the portal bringing kids in instead of growing the homegrown stuff. So that's really impressive that you did that for 4 consecutive state championships. One of the things I've been hearing is that you've done multiple things in your career. I mean, you coached baseball, basketball, football, you've done all that good stuff. but also you've been an AD as well. How do you juggle those tasks and do your head coaching position?
Well, it was kind of easy, just to be honest, because I've always been one to support, all the sports, and with me doing that at Carlisle and just coming up with creative ways to get people to come to our games and things of that nature. And I would use the students as well. Hey, give me some ideas. What do you think will help bring people in? And so it came kind of naturally, to be honest. I've always been one that I get along well with kids. I relate to kids, and so once they realize who I am truly, they started giving me answers, and that helped me in the long run because ultimately, the kids know, they know what'll bring crowds and what'll bring their peers out. So I would go to them a lot of times, and there were times where business would take over my basketball duties, but I've always had really good coaches that could help me out when I needed it. And so that doesn't go unnoticed either. So you've got to have some coaches that'll be there for you if you have to take off and do this or do that. And I've been fortunate to have some really good coaches.
If I don't ask this question when he listens to this later, he'll be pretty mad at me. But we talked about this offline. Our godbrother, brother Mike Pritchett, there, you hired him at GW for baseball. As AD, I guess was Mike the first coach when the program came back from baseball? Like, what was that process like? Not having a baseball program, which had a historic, tradition there at GW, to having nothing and hiring Mike to kind of lead that.
Well, my number one priority when I took over as AD at GW was to bring back baseball and softball. We were able to bring back baseball. It was a long process of trying to find someone. And, a lot of people had told me about Mike. I didn't know him personally. And then he applied. And then we had another gentleman apply that had a really, really great resume. But I just felt like, and I prayed on this for days, and I just felt like Mike was the best fit. And I'm glad that, he's having the success that he's having there, building that program up, because he's gone from having just a varsity team to having varsity, JV, and middle school now. So I think he's doing some great things there. I wish him nothing but success, and I one day hope to hear, he wins a state championship with GW baseball.
Well, we can get rid of that GW Eagle talk now. We're back to the Bassett Bengals here. So, going to last summer, you took the job there at Bassett, or I guess in the fall. A program I think went 4-19. Was there any trepidation like, hey, do I want to take this job? They just won 4 games. Or you're like, hey, no, this is a project. I want to be part of this. I want to build this up. So, what was your thought process going to that hire?
I didn't even think twice about it. Coming back home. Technically, I'm a Bengal anyway since consolidation with Philadelphia, Collinsville, and Bassett. So to get the opportunity to come back home and coach boys basketball, man, I was tickled. And like once I found out, man, it was like I cried. I'm just gonna be honest. I cried once I found out. I called my wife and I told her, and we went out and celebrated. I told my daughters, and all my uncles and my grandfather, like. One of the most important things to me was my grandfather. He's always been in my life. My father hadn't never been there, so it was always my grandfather. And every school that I coached at, I always was able to give him a hat. And unfortunately, I was in practice and I never got to give him the hat this past year, and he passed away. So that's one of the things that I do. He didn't get to see me coach at Bassett. He always talked about, hey, I want to see you come back home, son, and, coaching your home school and all that. He was like my biggest supporter. And so that's just not having him around. It's kind of disappointing at times, but man, I'm so glad to be here. My Coach Johnson, the football coach, is like my little brother. He's actually my cousin, but I still call him like my little brother. My actual little brother is the running backs coach on the football team. I mean, it's just a family atmosphere, and I couldn't turn that down. I was like that. It couldn't have been any more appropriate than to go back home and be able to coach.
Well, Coach, I'm the optimist here. So I look at you. If you look at a schedule, if you're pessimistic, you can look at a schedule like, oh, they're not very good. But I look at 6 and 17. You improved by 2 wins compared to last year before you took over. And then I was looking at your roster, and I was looking at watching that game against William Byrd, and I saw a 1-5. I saw a lot of 14,
Right,
33. Oh, you mentioned he's not there anymore, but still, you played a lot of young guys. And look
right.
at the schedule. You guys avenged losses to Martinsville, William Byrd, Patrick County. You played GW Tunstall closer to second time around, and you have a fantastic win against Halifax as well. So kind of an up and down season, but you kind of expect that with young guys. So I can get your feedback on the season and how you thought how it went.
I think we had a really good season, to be honest. No, it didn't translate in wins and losses, but in I think in 12 or at least 12 of our losses, we had at least an 8 point lead in at least 12 of our losses. Against William Byrd, the first time we were up by 20 at the half and we ended up losing by like 12. So things like that, just thinking about games like that we didn't put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. And I think this year coming in, I think those guys are hungry. And I wanted a young team. I didn't want to have to start with a lot of older guys and then have to redo it again the following year. So a lot of those younger guys that played last year, I think they're going to be ready this year. We put a lot of work in this summer so far. We've taken only 2 weeks off. We took the first 2 weeks after the season, and then of course the two dead periods we've had to take off. But we've been in the gym at least twice a week, and now we've bumped it up to 3 times a week. And I mean, it's trickling down. Like we had 12 or 13 middle schoolers here yesterday for open gym, not to mention our 20 JV and varsity guys that are here. So, just to know that 2 years ago, they go from having 3 to 4 guys in open gym to having 20 to 25 in open gym. And that just shows me that they want to win. They just like, I'll never forget this from last year. Zyreak came to me and he told me, he says, Coach, honestly, we've never won. We didn't win at FC in middle school. We haven't won at Bassett, so we don't really know how to win. And that was kind of disheartening, just to hear a kid say that we don't know how to win. And so I made it a point to go in and teach from the ground up. And the guys know that, hey, we play hard no matter what. We're not going to quit. And I thought we were probably the hottest team in the Piedmont District last year going into the tournament. We ended up losing to Halifax right there at the end, but we lost to GW by 7. We go on to beat Martinsville. We beat Halifax. We played Tunstall to a 1 point game. Like we really we had it. We went up to Abingdon. We were up by 20 plus against Abingdon. Lost that game in the second half. But I wanted them to experience that because you can only get better from that. So I think I have so many high expectations coming into this season, and I think they have high expectations. You can see it. You can see how they work with each other, how they're in the gym, and they're not missing. I mean, even the football guys, and that's one thing from what I understand, has never happened. The football guys are showing up for basketball workouts, and that just shows me that they care about the program, man, and that kind of makes me want to go a little bit harder. And like last year, I went through some things with my wife's health. She ended up having a kidney and pancreas transplant. So a lot, I honestly, I could not focus on my boys like I should have. And so my wife is better. She's giving me the go, hey, go do what you do. And, so now I can relax. I don't have to worry. It's not about my wife and everything. I can put my 100% focus on the guys. And that's what we've been doing so far. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I text the principal the other day. I tell him all about the guys showing up, who's there, what we got going on. I mean, we had a basketball camp about 3 weeks ago. We had 62 kids show up at our basketball camp. And that's just, I mean, I'm hoping that continues. And, it's just a testament to our boys and what they're trying to do right now.
Yeah, coach, and I was just going to add to just, going off of what you just said, the one thing that kind of stood out to me because I transferred from Chatham to Dan River, and I just know that summer when I first got to Dan River, when I saw what the open gyms were like compared to when I was at Chatham, it was just, and no disrespect to Chatham, but it was just a whole, and that's where Gregor went to high school too. But
Yeah.
it was just one of those things where it was a culture, a whole culture change in terms of how many people are coming to the workouts. And you got former players there, you got all these, like, you had middle
Yeah.
schoolers there. I mean, I think, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, it starts from the ground up. But I want to talk too about the team a little bit from last
Okay.
year.
Yes.
Obviously a lot of talent in terms of, or young talent in terms of guys like Mans, guys like Cook, who were key contributors for you. But you had one guy who we covered a lot on the podcast, and that was Isaiah Perkins, and he
Yes,
was
sir.
a huge senior for y'all. Just talk
Mm-hmm.
about what he meant to that team last year, and what you see for him going forward.
Man, that's my guy. I love Perk. I love Perk to life, man. We met actually his dad and I played high school basketball together. So, and it was funny. I seen his dad at the gas station the year before I took the job, and he was like, "Man, I wish Perk." He said, "I wish Perk could play for you, man." I was like, "Man, I wish it could happen too." And I was at Magna Vista at the time, not knowing that we would ever get the opportunity to be able to coach him, man. And his dad was the first one of the first ones I called to let him know. And Perk came in. I think Perk was used to um mediocrity, just to be honest. And he realized that to be great, you got to work at every aspect of it. You can't take plays off. You got to work in practice. You got to get some shots up after practice. The 2 hours that we spend in practice, you still got to get some work in. And Perk realized that. And I think as the season progressed, he got better and better. Defensively, he's always been an offensive threat. But I think the focus was to get better defensively. And I think he made a conscious effort to do that. And, at the end, he was playing just as good as anybody in the Piedmont district, in my opinion. And, hey, I felt like he was one of the top players in the state. He led the region in scoring with, 20 plus a game, led the region in rebounding and assists from his position. I mean, he scored over 600 points this year, and, he went over the 1,000-point mark. And he he wanted to stay local, so he signed with P&H. He's gonna go there. With that new JUCO rule, he won't lose any eligibility. He can go over there and get bigger, faster, stronger, and then see what happens from there. And I've seen him a couple times this summer. He's put on probably about 15 to 20 pounds, and I'm just looking forward to. And Coach Malloy talks about him a lot from P&H. We stay in contact. He texts me about Perk and telling me how he's doing, and he's been in the weight room consistently. The defense is there in their open gyms, and of course, he's scoring the basketball. So, we're going to miss Perk. But in my personal opinion, I do think we're going to be better this year without him, because I think sometimes we relied on him too much to score. And, at times in the fourth quarter, he was dead tired. He didn't have anything left. So I think the guys, we like Zyreak and Josiah, and we got some younger guys. Josiah's little brother Gavin. We got another freshman, Ethan Woods, that's going to be coming in. I don't think anybody's seen. Both of those guys played JV last year, so we're going to be fairly young again this year. Like I said, I brought up two underclassmen, and I think we're going to be a lot better. I truly do. We're going to play a up tempo style. We're not going to be as big as last year. So a lot of times we're going to play five guards, and we're going to get up and down the court. And so I'm just looking forward to the season. And like I was saying about Perk, man, I wish him nothing but success, and I hope he does well. And I look forward to seeing him sign a D1 or D2 scholarship in the next year or two.
I agree with that, Coach. We talked to Molloy a lot too, and he was very excited when he signed. And I thought he was kind of raw. I was like, I think he can go there, hit some raw
Yeah,
ability, get some pounds on him, get some game going. And I think
yeah,
he could be definitely a D2, D1 player
yes, sir.
with some work. But I did want to talk about your offensive philosophy. I mean, I was watching that game, and I could be totally wrong, but it seems like you like to like your players kind of their athletic ability to kind of find get a drive to the hole or do some pick and roll and kind of work some ball screens. So what's your philosophy on that?
It changes from year to year, and it actually changed from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Considering what I just kind of I didn't get a full summer with them, so I really didn't know what to expect with any of them. So I kind of had to learn on the fly and figure out what we did best and what we excelled at. So I realized that we had some athletes, and so we tried to space the floor, keep the middle open. If you can take your man off the dribble, hey, you got the freedom to do that. I don't think any of my players will ever say that coach fussed at me about shooting the basketball because I'm always telling them to shoot. You can't score if you don't shoot, man. And I think they finally bought into that, at closer to the end of the season. They realized that I really don't care about who scores the most. It's about just giving me that effort and playing together as a team. And then whatever happens after that, that's gravy on top. But I think this year we're going to play five guards a lot because we are so small and, but we're strong. We've been in the weight room. And, that's one thing that our basketball program hasn't done before either. They're in the weight room consistently and 3 days a week. And I actually have one of my players, his dad he does those strongman competitions. And he is actually in the weight room with our guys 3 days a week. So our guys are getting so much stronger. You can see it on the court. Their confidence is better. And, we're expecting some big things this year.
Coach, sorry I'm late. I'm Big G. Had a tooth cut out today. Had a gender reveal.
Lord.
It's a girl, but I had to jump on here when I found out you was going to be on here. And I'm out here beside the pool. I hope I can get a couple questions in before these kids start screaming and hollering. But anyway, listen to what I just heard from you guys and just a little bit I've been on. Just kind of a question, to you, and you seem like a very young man yourself. So, I look back, and I guess my question to you right now is, what have you seen, or the differences in, years in past or what have you until now? Because I know you just made a comment that you're going to still be young, and in my opinion, it just seems like guys are getting more athletic. And back in my day when I was playing in the 80s, we had a little auxiliary gym where we had Nautilus equipment in where you went in there and done whatever they called the leaper, and it kind of supposedly increased your vertical leap.
Right.
And
Exactly.
now it's the weight room and you're doing squats and all this kind of stuff. But what can you say about the athlete now compared to years in the past that you've seen personally?
Well, I think now there's so many options for the athlete out there as far as trainers, like the basketball trainers, the personal fitness trainers, and they have so many more advantages than we had coming up. I tell the kids like you can go to YouTube right now and you can just follow a workout that a coach might have on YouTube. We didn't have things like that. So I tell them all the time, take advantage of the opportunities that you guys have because we didn't have all that stuff. We had to legitly go out here and, chop wood or, get out there and do things with our families and stuff like that. And they have these opportunities to go out and train and be great. So that's probably the biggest difference. They have so many more options and avenues than we had, and they're playing a lot more as well, with all these AAU and travel squads. The kids are playing so much more basketball than we were able to play. We probably played outside a lot more than they do, but I think they're playing a lot more basketball, and I think that's translating to the court, and it's showing that and kids are just using their athleticism, get a little bit, and you can be successful in basketball. So I think the biggest thing is they have more options available to them than we did growing up.
My next question was going to be, have you met the new kid on the block over there? I guess he's a couple miles from you over in at the Bulldog Center. Have you met Mr. Hall yet?
Well, I have not met him personally, and we did add each other on Facebook the other day. One of John Martin, who will be one of my assistants, he was an assistant there last year, and John had the option to possibly go there this year, but he chose to stay with us at Bassett. So, and I know John talks to Coach Hall frequently. I know Coach Hall has my number, my information now. We're going to probably talk in the next coming weeks because we're trying to do like a summer league with us, Martinsville, Magna Vista, GW, and Franklin County, and go around on Saturdays and we'll play at each individual spot just to play against someone other than ourselves for a change. And so I plan to sit down and pick Coach's brain. I've heard so many good things about him, so I would love to sit down and talk with him as soon as possible.
Well, Coach, I know you had a couple players you wanted to introduce to us. Two, I guess a senior and a junior upcoming now. So if you want to go ahead and introduce them, and we can ask them a few questions too.
Sure. So I got two. They were both all Piedmont District selections last year. Both were two of my team captains. They're probably the most hardworking guys that I know, and they don't talk about it; they just be about it. And Zyreak Mans and Josiah Cahill, they're gonna be doing a lot for us this year. So, first person I'll let you speak to is Zyreak Mans.
What's going on?
Hey, Zyreak, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Good, good. Hey, I gotta say that's a nice shirt. My wife went to Virginia Tech, so if I don't say something about that, she can be upset with me. But one thing I noticed about you playing basketball, so I was watching that game. I saw you. You're only a sophomore, or only a sophomore last year, but you played so much bigger than a sophomore. It seemed like you had some confidence about yourself. You seemed fearless out there. Where did that come from? Who instilled that into you?
Well, from a young age, I've always been playing up. I like to play against older guys. I like to play against bigger guys just to show that I can, bang with the big guys. And I feel like it's crazy. I feel like I got that from my mother. Like she was always like, "You need to play up. You need to play up." So it's like big kudos to her about that.
I know you're a big football guy too. So do you enjoy football? Are you more a basketball guy, or do you like them both evenly? How does that go?
I like whatever season I'm in. Like if I'm in basketball season, I like basketball. If I'm in football season, I like football.
So what do you hope to kind of learn over the summer and going into next year, where you kind of improve upon going to next season?
Well, as far as basketball, I like to improve like on my confidence. There were some times in games where you can see like I'll be timid to score the ball, or I'll question, or I'll overthink and make a wrong pass. But like going into this junior year, I want to focus on being confident and playing freely. And coach does a great job of now letting us be free with the ball and having us letting us have freedom to be ourselves on the court.
Are you wanting to take someone off the dribble and go to the hole, or are you trying to pull up from deep? What's your game here?
Probably get right to the rim and get fouled, easy buckets.
All right, so you're being way too nice here. So I'll go ahead and ask you, what's the worst thing about the coach, and what's the best thing he's ever taught you? Is there a drill that you hate?
Oh well, when we doing those 16, really like those. I can't even lie to him.
What's the best message he's ever brought to you?
Well, me and him had some great one-on-one conversations, and just him letting me know like I can play, at this level. I can score the ball, like instilling that confidence in me when I'm down or when I don't have a great game, and that's where I love the coach the most.
Well, I think it says a lot. I'm sorry, Dev. I'll let you go. I'll let you go in just a second. But I just think it says a lot. You being, I think I heard correctly, a sophomore. Is that right? And him putting the confidence in you guys and showing you that respect, I think it says a lot about him. And the last thing I'll say about your shirt is I got a light blue one. It's got an NC on it. I'll bring to you when I come to your games. All right.
So, Zyreak, I wanted to ask just in terms of your future, whether it's on the football field or the basketball court. I mean, have you been getting recruited by schools at all, or have you been looking into visiting different campuses, anything like that? Any interest from coaches in the area?
Yes, sir. I've been to about 7 camps of football this summer. Twitter's the new way of recruiting, so I've got a couple followbacks from NCA&T, Elon, Maine, William and Mary, schools like that, and of course Tech.
What position are you on the football field?
Well, mainly I play free safety, but I play a little bit of wide receiver too.
Is there one you like better? You like scoring the touchdowns, or you like hitting somebody across the middle, or what's your thing here?
Hitting somebody across the middle, 100%.
That's awesome. Oh man. Well, Zyreak, big season coming up for Bassett for football. Are you ready for this? I mean, what are you guys expecting this year from the football team, and you think you guys can make a run in the playoffs?
Yes, sir. It's high expectations for this team. We got guys across the board. We're turning about 17 starters, I think, something like that. And this summer has been about competing. We get better every day. We're working out every day, 4 days a week outside on the field. Just got finished 7-on-7. This team is probably the most jail team I've been a part, and I've been playing since 8th grade. And I can't wait for us to put it all together on a Friday night and let everybody know what we know.
Last question. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I was going to say, Greg, before you get to you, I know yours is a good question. Mine's probably going to be something that I might be speaking way out of line here. But Zyreak, I think, did you guys play at Tunstall this year and beat them, drubbed them 55-0?
Yes,
I
sir.
believe I was at that game. I believe that was their homecoming night too, as well. So, but anyway, long story short, I had promoted you all's kicker, if I'm not mistaken, your field goal kicker. Did he wind up going somewhere? Did he go to Liberty or Tech or somewhere like that, or is he?
Yeah, he's a kicker at Virginia Tech now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. I taught these two boys about him. It's one of those things where you just don't see a guy with a leg like that very often in high school. And when I saw him, I made sure that they knew about him. So anyway, I was just kind of curious about that. But no, I did make it to that game, and it was quite the drubbing. So I just wanted to let you know, good game on that night.
Zyreak, last one for me for you. So I think I heard that your dad is a strength and conditioning coach. How much are you spending spending in the gym, lifting weights, and what's that relationship between like you and him, and kind of growing up and kind of getting that maturity to look at the next level of part, potentially going to college and whatnot.
Yes, sir. We work out all the time, really. Sundays, if you catch any Sunday at 12 o'clock, you'll see us at Bassett, speeding agility on the field. He's instilled in me, like, from a young age, like, the college work ethic. Like, you have to be outworking somebody if you want to be on the college field. And, like, I love my dad to death. Like, it's just, I think I'm so thankful to have that in my household, and just be able to see that at a young age, just to know, like, what it takes to be on that level.
Oh, Zyreak, we do appreciate your time, and we'll be watching you in the football field and the basketball team. I mean, I'm like I said, just a sophomore last year, you'll be a junior coming up, but you play so much older than that. So we appreciate your game. We look forward to seeing how you progress, and hopefully we'll see. Oh, Devin has one.
Hey, Zyreak, we got one more thing for you here, all right?
Oh, Devin, do you want to do it with him and Josiah together?
Yeah, we'll do. Oh, never mind. We'll get you back on in just a minute with Josiah. We're gonna do a little rapid fire with both of y'all. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. How y'all doing?
Mr. Cahill, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Josiah,
How's it going?
good. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great,
Good.
man.
Well, we're talking to Zyreak. We understood that he was a sophomore. You played as a junior last year, played a lot of minutes. You were very important to the team. I guess you're older, you're a junior, but how did you kind of keep those guys in check? And what are you looking forward to moving to as a senior next year?
I mean, for this year, I look to score the ball more. But last year, you could tell on my face, I was a little timid on offense. I don't really like messing up or making mistakes. But on defense, I'm just a go-getter. I just want the ball on defense.
I heard that this is your first year playing football. What made you want to do that? Is just like, hey, senior year, let's go play everything?
Yes, sir. And I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I was just like, hey, you only live once. Might as well do everything that you can.
You can play some baseball too.
Yes, sir. I play
Oh,
baseball.
really? I like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Did you already play baseball, or is this your first time playing that as well?
I'm already been playing.
Oh, nice. What position are you in baseball?
Uh, I play center, left, right, and a little bit of third sometimes, but it's a hot spot, so I don't really like it.
Gotcha. I got you. I like that. So far as basketball goes, I mean, I was watching the game. I saw you kind of playing some defense, getting to the guys' faces and stuff like that. So are you just kind of in your mouth type of guy? You want that physical contact?
Yes, sir.
What
I like to bring that.
I like that. I like that. What position you can play in football? What are you projecting?
I mean, right now they're projecting me to play running back, but I'm low key like going more for the defense. It was fun. I like it.
So, favorite trash talking line? I know mine was, "You can't carry my jock in a tractor trailer." So, what is yours?
I don't really talk junk on the court. I'm like a humble guy. Yeah. Now my brother, on the other hand,
That's a great answer, Josiah. You want to say anything on camera? That's good. That's good
No
training there.
bulletin board material.
Exactly. So what this summer, what have you been working on as far as like getting to weight room, playing basketball, getting to football? How are you juggling everything?
I mean, you just really age that. Hey, so you got to get stuff done, so you got to go do it. You just got to work your schedule. And I mean, I'm just trying to be a good basketball player. First year of football, so I just got to go out here and be a go-getter.
What are you looking forward to the future? I mean, are you looking to play a certain sport in college? Are you looking just to go to college, just kind of be a student, or what's your future like?
I mean, I haven't really thought about it yet, but I mean, I know I want to go to college. I don't know if I want to go for sports yet, but I need to hurry up and get my mind made up.
I mean, is there a certain sport you would want to play in the next level? Like if you want to continue basketball, or are you hoping maybe this thing with football works out where you're, maybe playing defense or offense, whatever, or is it a baseball team?
I would really say it would have to be between football and basketball because I really do like football. Now getting into it, but basketball is just like it's my heart. So I would probably go for basketball if I went.
Well, I know a lot of guys, a lot of football guys, they love the hit and stuff like that. So I like seeing that on the court too. Like I see a lot of that in you on the court. What are you working on towards next year?
I've been working on my handles. I've been working on my mid-range game. And I've been working on my 3 too. And I've been working on finishing and just like taking the contact and playing defense without my hands.
Yes.
There we go. Oh, I hear Coach in the background. He said, "Yeah, hand checking, no hand checking." I like that. Well, Josiah, so you and Zyreak, we have a little thing for you that Devin's gonna put on. So the rapid fire thing. So we all ready for this?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Josiah, and then as Zyreak, we're gonna go ahead and get to some rapid fire questions. All right, so y'all just whatever the first thing that come to mind is, y'all let us know. All right, so we got about 10 here, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. We'll see. All right, so Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Gatorade or Powerade?
Gatorade.
There you go. Dunk or 3-point?
Dunk.
Home or away game?
Home.
these guys are in sync right now. This is crazy.
They are. They are.
Here we go. Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
LeBron.
There we go.
Oh.
Best pregame music?
Broadway.
Yeah.
King George.
Devin? What was the popular choice we had a couple months ago?
Oh man, I'm trying. Somebody said it was Cade. Somebody said Big X the plug. I'm trying to think of who else was on there, but we had a couple Northside guys too who had the same answer. I forget who it was, but all right. Indoor gym or outdoor court?
Indoor gym.
Play on a court with no net or a double rim?
No net.
Double rim.
No look pass or chase down block?
Chase down.
block.
Pre-game meal?
Gatorade and like a protein bowl.
I would go a water and like a little. I don't know. Like water, like this.
Best restaurant after a game?
Around here is El Corral.
All right, last one here. Would you rather get your ankles broken or get posterized?
Get dunked on.
Yeah.
All right. You heard it here. Zyreak, Josiah, we want to appreciate or give our appreciation to y'all. Thank you for taking the time. I know y'all got a busy schedule this summer and everything, just getting ready for football and getting ready for the basketball season ahead. So we want to thank y'all.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And then last one to Coach Mancino. Coach, what's the rest of the summer hold? What's the fall hold? Are you kind of watching your guys play some football, or what are you kind of doing in the off season?
Well, Friday nights, I'm on the sidelines with my guys. I have to be there. And we're going to continue to work out 3 times a week. We're going to stay in the weight room. We're going to continue to play. I think the biggest thing for us was to play as much as possible this summer. To get to know each other on a better level, because I feel like the closer you are as a unit, the better you play on the court. So I wanted them to become closer as people and as friends, and I think they have done that. We have some competitive open gyms though, so we're going to continue to do that. I know the football guys are going to continue to come in when they can. And we're just this year, we're going to be ready when we open up with Franklin County, and we're going to be ready for the season this year. So I'm looking forward to it. We have high expectations. The number one goal is to win the Piedmont District. And, goal number 2 is to be able to host a region game, 1 or 2 games. And then the ultimate goal is to compete for a state championship. And that's the mindset that we have to have moving forward. And I think myself and my coaches are doing a great job of instilling that into our kids.
Well, Coach, we do appreciate your time. I know you wanted to come on here and talk some Bassett basketball, and we do appreciate you. I think you'll have some success. You have some great kids there as well. So we thank you for your time, Coach.
Okay, no problem. I appreciate y'all. Hey, look forward to maybe doing another about mid-season. Hoping I'm saying some. We're in the running for a Piedmont District title.
We usually do like a thing before the season starts, so we'll try to get you on before the season. Do like a little round table on the district. So we'll get you on before then.
Yes. I'll do anything, man. Anything to promote our
program. We'll do all access at the game as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would love for y'all to be there.
All right, Coach Mancino Craighead there at Bassett High School. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.